Hey everybody, Val here with today's riff on two intriguing events. First up, NASA plans to turn the moon into a telescope that looks like the Death Star. A newly funded concept envisions a kilometer-wide radio telescope built inside a crater on the far side of the moon. This ultra-long wavelength radio telescope will give scientists a look at a time long before we humans walk the Earth, reports Motherboard Science. This far side of the moon is a land of silent mystery. Because it always faces away from Earth, all the radio transmission noise that we humans blast out never reach the far side. Scientists have dreamed of capitalizing on this unique radio silence for decades. And the proposed lunar crater project would be the largest filled aperture radio telescope in the solar system. But NASA better move fast, because while we dream, China quietly explores and probes the mysterious lunar far side, laying the foundations for the human species' first moon base and a radio telescope that will provide an unfettered view on the universe. In February of 2019, China established the first human technology landing site that they named the Milky Way base. The Chang'e 4 probe, as it's known, launched on December 8, 2018, landed at the Van Karman crater at the South Pole on January 3, 2019. A Dutch-built radio antenna traveled along to usher in a new era of radio astronomy, allowing for the study of objects that might otherwise be invisible or hidden in other parts of the electromagnetic spectrum. Radio astronomers studied the universe using radio waves, light coming from stars and planets, for example, which is not visible with the naked eye. We can receive almost all celestial radio wave frequencies here on Earth, but we can't detect radio waves below 30 megahertz, which are blocked by our atmosphere. And it's these frequencies in particular that harbor unknown information about the early universe following the Big Bang. So on to our second story. Dinosaurs on the Moon, the impossible magnitude 12 earthquake that changed our world. Some 66 million years ago, a 14-kilometer-long Mount Everest-sized asteroid blasted a hole in the ground. Chicxulub impact, as it's known, releasing the equivalent of 100 million megatons of TNT, creating a 20-mile deep, 110-mile-long hole and sterilizing the remaining 170 million square miles of the ancient continent of Pangaea. The impact killed virtually every species on Earth and, oddly, paved the way for the emergence of the human species. The asteroid itself was so large that even at the moment of impact, the top of it might still have towered more than a mile above the cruising altitude of a 747, writes author Peter Brannen in his incredible book, Ends of the World. In its nearly instantaneous descent, Brannen writes, it compressed the air below so violently that it briefly became several times hotter than the surface of the sun. The pressure of the atmosphere in front of the asteroid started excavating the crater before it even got there, said Yucatan geophysicist Mario Robidello, who told Brannen. Then, when the meteorite touched ground zero, it was totally intact. It was so massive that the atmosphere didn't even make a scratch on it. In the Yucatan, Robledo continues, it would have been a pleasant day 1 second, and the world was already over by the next. As the asteroid collided with the Earth in the sky above it, where there should have been air, the rocket punched a hole of outer space vacuum into the atmosphere. As the heavens rushed in to close this hole, enormous volumes of Earth were expelled into orbit and beyond, all within a second or two of impact. So there are probably bits of dinosaur bone up on the moon, Brannen replied. Colossal earthquakes followed what would have been noticeable on the opposite side of the planet. As a geophysicist later put it to Brannen, a magnitude 11 or 12 earthquake at any one location on Earth would feel like a magnitude 9 earthquake everywhere else on the planet. At impact, the Earth probably rang like a bell, triggering volcanic eruptions around the planet. Val Landy, signing off.